Sometimes life lets you down and you feel that you are done. You just want a morning run because the fun is all gone. But sometimes life makes you proud when you look far and wide, when you leave the pain behind and see the brighter side. GenSan gives you inspiration. GenSan reignites your passion. GenSan starts your transformation. GenSan helps you see the new you.
The new channel. The new channel.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following show are those of the hosts, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the new channel, here to help you see the new you. This is Jesse Francis Rebustillo, your host to this wonderful program, the HR Hotline. Welcome back to HR Hotline. But before I give you the insights for the introduction, let me share with you my happiness today. This is the day the Lord has made, because as early as 10 o'clock, I was already up and actually looking at this camera. Earlier, I did the closing keynote for the Philippine Society Talent Development. I am now the chairman of that association. It's wonderful that L&D practitioners, trainers are together, and we had what we call the T-panel. It's now E-T-panel. Then I have this live streaming show. By the way, if you are generous enough to be a sponsor of this show, then later on, which is why I'm so excited, we're going to have our PopsCon 2020. It will be free for the plenary, which will start at 2 o'clock. You can just visit our page, our website. It's Philippine Association of Professional Speakers, and you can join us. There will be actually 8 plenary featuring 8 plus 1 invited guest, and plus 2, Lloyd and myself. So that's around 11 keynote speakers for free. Then tonight at 6 o'clock, there will be drugs. And of course, we are requiring a minimal fee of 500 pesos for you to join, participate in the PAPSCON 2020 session tracks. It will be for today and tomorrow. This is for the speaking industry, the professional speaking industry of the Philippines, where I am currently the president. Okay, the topic for today really hits the core of HR. It is still on advancing the HR practice, but let us focus on the small, medium enterprises. We can even include the micro enterprises. The pandemic made it obvious. The new working arrangements really made it obvious that we have to upgrade, upskill, reskill ourselves to be able to efficiently and effectively provide the HR services, the HR function. I will not mention that it is a sad state, but I will mention that is actually the truth, the real truth, that more than, in my estimate, 75%. Yeah, I can remember. I was involved in a recent survey by Salarium and HR Nation. Yeah, I'm right. 75% are still doing traditional HR. But we don't have to be judgmental because it's not easy to really state that one is still traditional. But there are ways that we can determine that you still are. One is the mindset. It is not anymore personnel, administration, so you don't have to be an administrator. That is why there was a literal change in the nomenclature from personal administration to HR, human resource, to talent, to people. What's in a name? A rose is still a rose, but there is because it really influences your mindset. So, even if you're a micro organization, even if you are a medium sized organization, are you practicing, are you adopting strategic HR? The first question is, do you even have a manpower plan? And also, how are you advancing your use for technology that can help you? Oh, of course, you will always mention it's expensive, but do what you call the cost benefit analysis. I am just convincing a friend of mine who's supposed to get me as a consultant for their learning and development. The HR manager is insisting that they will get a learning and development person to come up with designs and do training. I am convincing them that is not the new way of doing it. You can just source it. You can just call me, I told them. Then I made a blatant cost benefit. How much are you going to pay for the L&D personnel? 20,000. When can you expect that she will be able or he will be able to come up with a program? Then I told her that it's not anymore the trend that the zillennials, the millennials, they need a subject matter expert and they need somebody not within the organization to tell them things. But she is not listening. So the problem is actually on the mindset. A lot of people have HRIS, but are they using it? Are the analytics being used for decision making? I know of a couple of government agencies who acquired expensive HR information systems. But this was even before 2016. So I told them, you cannot use that because there is no functionality. There is no feature on analytics. So what did they do with that? Recording. HRIS is not actually meant for recording. So it's the mindset. It's the mindset. I know of a friend of mine who got an expensive system, but they are only using half of it. The question is, I am not trying to belittle anybody. How do you check your attendance now that you are supposed to be working from home? Are you still on the bandy clock? Are you still on the 8 to 5? I made a pause, the power of the pause. How can you make it 8 to 5? You must get a tracking system. How about performance? How about productivity? How about succession plan? Are you strategic enough? There are 4 pillars in strategic HR. That's actually acquisition, then your learning, then your succession plan, then your engagement. Have you changed your mindset? That is my insight for this topic. Be that you are a small or a micro organization. So for this, ladies and gentlemen, I invited a friend of mine. He's a fellow PMOP, a president when I was also the president of PMOP. He's from he was born in Cebu, but he's now in General Santos. He graduated a bachelor's degree in San Carlos, Cebu, but got his MBA in University of the Jangas. He has been working with big organizations, large organizations, and most recently was the executive director of Phil Export Region 12. I know him, you know, times that I am in GenSan, we had quality time, and we don't talk of if of the weather or of Mommy Julicia, we talk about HR. And this is what I like. This is what I like. I would like to still really live, experience the time, what we read about Rizal. They have the tertulias, which is why with February and Obet, these are my, what do you call this, best friend forever. There are times that you don't talk of people, of the weather. We talk about thoughts. And I love it. I love it. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let us meet the managing director of Triple SJ Consultancy, Mr. Ismael Salih Jr.
Hi, Sir Jess. Good
Yes, hello,
afternoon.
good afternoon. Thank you for gracing my live streaming show. You, where are you now? Are you at home or are you in an office,
I'm
June?
I'm at home, and then thank you also for the invitation you have afforded me today. At least I can share some insights in your program. Okay,
Yeah,
so
sure.
yeah, I would like also to welcome all those attendees we have or participants we have through your program, and thank you for spending us your time during this break time. Supposed to be your at rest now. Okay, so Sir Jess, thank you very much for these invitations, and I treasure this as one of uh
Before we continue, let
yeah.
me greet some of those who are watching us. Nathaniel Monseri is watching us. Tony Jas Lascanio of Cebu. She is a director of the geophysics. Jas, Tony Jas, hello, welcome that you're watching. And then also, happy birthday, Maricel, the executive director of PSTD. Olin Lee, the one in charge of the master classes, the programs in the Philippine Society for Talent Development. Past President Obet Policarpio would like to greet you, June. Remember PP Obet
Yes.
Policarpio. Okay. And so, for all those who are watching us, uh, can you tell us your positive HR moment? All of you, from PP Obet down to Nathaniel Monsera. It would be nice if you will be able to know in the chat box if they're going to share with us their positive HR moment as an employee or as an HR person. Okay, so let us continue our conversation, June. Okay,
Yes.
okay. Can we start with something that is basic and fundamental? What are the best practices now in HR?
um okay, let me start.
Let us focus on the SME. On the
Yes.
SME.
Okay, because that is where I'm doing my practices right now. Okay, so there are several practices that we are having in SME, and uh, some of which are the health and safety, which is really
Yeah.
a problem now because of what we have. Everybody was caught unaware, no, about this problem. And then we have securities to employees, uh, and access to the new information system. And in most cases, the small and medium enterprise, they have difficulties in training and development. So what they
Yes, I
normally
know that.
do, yes, what they normally do is to avail for the free seminars in DTI or in the DOLE, so that they can also train their people. Okay, the cost of training and development is quite high, so they normally do their assessment on what trainings to give to their people depending on the skills or knowledge that their people needs. So they just look for the scheduled seminars to be able to give them to be able to give their employees uh, the due knowledge and the skills. Okay,
Yes.
so in other companies, this is quite weird, but these are being this is what my observation is. They don't go anymore for negative discipline. They go for positive discipline already.
I
So
know.
instead of doing punishment, they go for a program wherein they are going to reward people that is compliant to the code of conduct of the company. To make some explanation on this portion, tardiness. Now, if you are an HR, you would really look for the data. If your if your if your tardiness is increasing, then it's about time to analyze what is the problem of the employees. So there are four things that we normally do. One is we call this the four P's. One is the product. The other one is the machine, no? The four M's, the materials, machine. You have the people of
Manpower.
is the last one is the people. Okay.
Yes.
The third one is the method. No, method and manpower. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So this is the part. This part is what we call analytics, because you're going to analyze which of these four M's are not working.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so most of the time they get tardiness
Yes.
because of the machine that is out of order. Okay, that's number
Yes.
one. That is only an example.
Yes.
Excuse me. The other one is they're always late because they don't like the system, which is the method.
Yes.
And the
That's
last
true.
one, because normally in our practice, what the HR normally do is they jump directly to the manpower. They're going to check whether it is uh, behavioral. No,
Right.
that's
You're
that's
very
we
correct.
don't we
Yes.
yes, we don't do it that way. We do it last. Manpower is last. Because once you analyze the 3M, you go for the last one, which is manpower. If there's no
Yes.
problem on the 3M, then you go for the manpower. Probably there's a problem of
So
the
what, yeah, excuse me,
behavior.
excuse me.
Yes, yes,
So what you're telling us, June, is say on that very small area of uh, coming up with your attendance, you
yes,
have to analyze the four M's. That you
yes.
don't go straight to the person
To the
and
manpower.
then discipline that person, because
Yes,
there might be some reasons why they come late. So
correct.
it is already not a good practice. uh, I was redundant. So it is not a good practice
Yes,
that, say, when somebody who incurs a series of tardiness, you refer it to your code of discipline and start suspending, or eventually, subsequently, you terminate the employment. So you still,
correct.
maybe the
Correct.
person is coming late because there is a problem on the process.
Yes,
Maybe, yes. So you're very right. I'm
yes.
learning from you. So what else? What
Okay.
else are the best practices?
The health
You
and
still have,
safety. No, the health and safety. Of course, this is one of the areas wherein instead of you have to prevent, because one personnel or one employee that will be absent, that is already you call that will affect the operations totally in
you know,
productivity.
you are very right. Pre-COVID, we were not actually focused on health and safety,
Yes,
although there was already a mandate coming from DOLE that you must have OS, occupational
yes,
health and safety. But you
yes,
know,
sir.
that
Yes,
was the least of our concern. We just like, it was just compliance. We just have a doctor who goes around, if you're small, or a nurse who really stays with us. And then we give the nurse other things to do, not actually minding the health protocols of now. COVID is here, so everybody is now actually conscious of health and safety protocols. You know, June, we are so focused on health because of the pandemic, but sometimes we also miss even that one of fire exits. Am I right,
Yes.
June? And this is
Yes.
safety. And this
This
is
is
safety.
safety. Yes.
Yeah, just imagine, I just read in my feed that there were around two or three guys who died in a construction in Clark. So that means that I am very sure that they were so conscious about the physical distancing that they may have missed the safety, what do you call this? Protocols that they have to follow. What do you call that, June, in construction, wherein you have to have uh, the one that is uh, in
Harness.
your harness, the harness,
Harness.
the
Yeah.
harness, or even the one that is, yeah. So yes, that, yeah, I am very true. So then isa-isahin natin June. So that one is, and then timekeeping. How about the best practice in, if they are still looking for people for acquisition?
Acquisition. Okay. Actually, there are several challenges we have encountered, Sir Jess. No. Let me go back to health and safety. Uh, i- in a situation in General Santos, I'll just give you a situation, which is it's very hard for an owner to transform his company from family to corporate. It is very hard, and it is our challenge and as an HR to do the program. Okay, so normally, let's talk of health and safety before moving to the hiring process. The health and safety is the least important for our owners. No, unless otherwise we can inject some importance that they have to take in the program to benefit their employees. Okay. The other one is that the best practices for hiring. We know we have what we do is to take away nepotism, which is very very common in General Santos. So in order to have a better quality manpower, we need to focus on uh, the right process for hiring. No, there's
You're
no
very,
favoritism.
you're very correct. You know, it's not even nepotism. It
Yeah.
is the traditional way of say we need a help here, say in accounting. Then we ask our employees around, can you recommend? And usually, who is recommended is somebody within the family circle, not looking into the competency. So I
Yes.
think, so I think you are very right. Uh, it's nepotism against competency-based
Yes.
hiring.
Normally, what we do is we have to go to the process, but this is one thing that we have to take. Um, in our selection process, or even in the recruitment, we already um, we already choose who are those candidates. We also have a better selection. We let them understand that in selecting employees, we have our own standard to follow. Unlike others, that when you say, this is what is written on our job specification, and this is what is written on our uh, job description, and that's it. No? We have to dig deeper. We have to do that practice so that everybody in the HR would know, and that would set the standard for hiring and development, hiring and
I like it.
recruitment and
I,
hiring.
I
Yeah,
I like it, June, what you're sharing with us. So for the small, micros, small and medium
medium.
enterprises,
Yeah,
at least come up with a competency-based job description. If it
yeah,
is not actually, you can even have it not uh, perfectly written, but at least you have a list of what you are looking for that particular vacant position. And then you must have the success factors, and these are the competencies. Gone are the days, June, that you have to
yeah,
say, dapat maganda. Beauty is not a competency. Dapat dito, bata. Age is not a competency. Yung competency po, yung knowledge, skills, and attitude. And in
Yes.
particular, doon sa gagawin. May alam siya doon sa gagawin. Hindi na po pwede na yung pwede na. Para bang
Yes.
yung sino ang dapat mag-HR ay nakatapos na ng agriculture yung aming kapatid, siguro pwede siya mag-HR. Bakit hindi? Kung may competency siya. Pero tingnan muna natin kasi what was it that they learn in school, yung kanilang medyo knowledge, doon dapat i-refocus yung tao.
Now,
So
one advice I could share to our participants here, Jess, is never compromise your standard, because Filipinos are I have to be honest, we are very we always say pwede na yan, no? But that is very risky, because once this employee gets engaged of the company, if there is a problem in the competency, then it is not us as an HR, but it is the company that will suffer. No?
right, Jack.
Okay?
You know, I have that. I know that situation now. There is somebody who's actually looking at referring to me if I can be a consultant to the company, but there is no definite engagement yet. But I learned that he has already having problems with his senior staff
Manager.
and managers because in his story, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, he just recruited anybody to fill in positions in the company. Yun na nga, yung kakilala. And
Yes,
now, of
that's
course,
very risky.
with their tenure and with their seniority, they are being pushed up into the hierarchy, and that is already and now that they are already getting qualified and capable staff, there is already a problem between the leaders and then the subordinates. Okay, nice conversation with you, June. Let's have first the first break, and then we come back. We go to L&D and some more areas wherein how can HR transition from traditional into strategic in the micro, small, and medium enterprises. Can we have the
Okay.
first break? Direct Marvin, can I have the slide of the shows in TNC so that we can invite our viewers to be tuned in to the various TNC programs. Okay, the big picture shares inspiring stories of notable personalities from Mondays to Fridays. HR Hotline introduces us the wonderful world of human resources management. Have an insightful Saturday afternoon because family business is everyone's business. The fourth project is about life, business, success stories live from Dubai. Usapang Beauty is about beauty beyond what your eyes can see. The world has faced an unprecedented pandemic. Time to hear positive testimonies straight from those who recovered from the disease. Discover your life purpose and learn from others' turnaround stories by tuning in to U Turn. The Home Buyer is where you hear remarkable stories about building and owning a property. Laugh and learn about puppetry arts from all over the world. The Puppet Stories on Mondays. Magbenta bumili at tumulong dahil bukas na ang TNC Marketplace and online night bazaar. YOLO is for all of us to understand the law is fun and equally too. Watch and learn about Money More, stream live from the Philippines and the US. Two leaders in platform, TNC The Talk. After Shift is the chillaxing show about your choices and lives after work. Discover and learn strategies on self-leadership to win in life through Win Within and Dream Achieve, Nurture and Inspire. Tag your kids along Danny Art Show. Global issues, common interests, learn together across foreign affairs. And because health is wealth, Healthline on Wednesday. Start your Saturday celebrating women at work, and we have awesome day on Mondays at 2:30. The world where everything is turning out digital, cyber NXT. TechQ helps you understand the emerging technologies shaping our future. And catch also one day the TNC Town Hall and many, many more shows in TNC. Thank you, Mabin. Okay. There is, I know it. I know it. There is a line. I know it's a crack in my camera, but I'm keeping it. Although I have two. I have Logitech and I have the Supremo and another one with the brand. But the screen is a little bit small. So I'm using this. When I love it because it is a marketing strategy. People are talking about it. That means that they are looking at me. And anyway, let's have uh, Mr. June Ismael Salih Jr. back. Y- June, you mentioned about learning and development, and we have some PSTD guys here uh, viewing us. And yes, you mentioned that a lot of those in the small and medium enterprises, they uh, ask free seminars from DTI and from Dollar. But I have this personal advocacy that if you can uh, really afford it, and of course the trainers will also charge accordingly. Learnings must have value against what you're getting it for free, so that you can really have focus. Sometimes when you uh, what do you call subscribe to free trainings, it is not actually following the ADI method, wherein you have your training needs analysis. So you just force your people to uh, attend seminars, wherein in fact it is not their gap or their need to improve their competency. Okay, so June, let us go to what else? How about labor relation? Or
Yes.
engagement, employee engagement. How how do we how do they how will HR transition from the traditional way of doing it to something that is strategic?
Okay. Um, Engagement. Okay, so we normally practice engagement from the start during selection or even before the hiring is being made. Normally, our practice is quite simple. It is not as difficult as in the corporate setting. Okay? So, one of the problems we have identified in employees' engagement is the clarity of work, the clarity of what he or she is going to receive, the clarity of what is inside the company. And this is most of the time this is neglected. Most of the HR will just give you your job description. This is your salary, and that's it. You go for your training by your supervisor or your managers, and that's it. There is no explanation. There is no further explanation. There is no orientation, no formal orientation, wherein you are going to be able to explain to the employee that what is in this company and what is there for me. That is the question. Okay.
Yes, yes. They
The-
have
the-
missed. Yeah, you nailed it, June. They missed the point that they have to look into the employee experience, and that will
yes.
really spell their engagement with the company, the passion of working. And I think that experience is from the you nailed it, from the sourcing to the recruitment in the interviews and to the onboarding and to how you are engaging with the employees. Gone are the days that you have to leave them on their own. HR must handhold. You nailed it, June. The traditional way is just give them the their job description, tell them to whom they're going to report, ask their supervisor to just tell them, orient them on what they're going to do, and that's it. Very good. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So that is where our difficulty in small and medium enterprises, because aside from we as an HR to to impart our knowledge, it is very difficult to convince the owners. That is one of our challenges in small and medium enterprise.
So you
Okay.
need So you need a lot of influencing, maybe
Yes.
mentorship program or maybe consultancy, and then you have to really influence the owners that this is the way it is. Sometimes they're so entrepreneurial, then they're after actually the profit, and everybody is looking for that, but they go beyond. They must go beyond that. They are there not also for the profit, but also for the service to the
They
HR. Yes,
they
yes.
forget the people, in short.
Okay, how about technology? How can those in the small and medium enterprises uh, transition into some technology? Can you tell us?
Okay.
Of course, they will always mention that it is expensive. So,
Yes.
advise us on what are the things that you have to prioritize.
I agree with you when you're opening about the HRIS. No? Everybody loves to have this type of program because this is actually it's in the tip of your fingers. Then you can have the data. Okay? So transforming from manual to to the new technology, it is quite difficult. But it is very easy for the for our employees, the younger employees, the millennials, because they are into this technology already. So in order for a small and micro or micro small medium enterprises to adapt with the HRIS, our observation is they cannot afford the total program. So what they do is they ask a programmer to do for their payroll. They do it installment basis until they can complete the whole set of the HRIS. So during the time that the program is being made, uh, the user will be the one that will dictate the programmer on what are the designs that they're going to do. It's just like building a house. If you don't have a design, you cannot You cannot have a better house. You cannot have your dream house. But the same thing in technology, we need to have that design to be able to workable to the rest of the organization. So the practices is we do it installment. We don't do it as a whole. So because the cost of having the whole system is quite expensive. What
But,
the owners can afford is only on an installment basis. But
but
this
you know,
can, yes,
June, there are already affordable applications and systems that you can get in the market.
yes,
One of it is they can just subscribe. There are a
yes,
lot of HR tools that organization can just subscribe, and maintaining them is easy because you just pay on the per employee
yes,
basis. They have,
yes, that's true.
I would like to influence those who are viewing us. They have to research. They can just go into to Google and then research on the providers of HR technologies that can help them. I know for a fact that even the tracking, wherein there is already uh, you can already see your your temperature and then
Yes,
your attendance. It only costs around 6,000 a month. But of course, you have to subscribe that it will be for a year. It is just like say you can afford a postpaid, just a postpaid cell phone uh, package. There are already. So
yes.
yes, but you mentioned about the design. Can you share it with us? Pardon that this is a fundamental question. How do you really come up with an HR plan so that we can
Okay,
ano
okay.
naman ang requirements?
Normally it is what we normally practice is we always anchor the HR plan to the vision and mission of the company. That is the
Right.
first qualification. Then it doesn't stop there. The next one is you have to focus on the people because there are HR plan, there are business plan that an HR will also be a part, but it is more of the profit. It is not people centered. Okay, so we have to focus on the people. What are the benefits? You have to incorporate all to have that inclusion on the business plan. Ganyan lang siya kakuan, Sir Jess. But you know, in a business plan, it needs really what kind of direction, no? Aside from the vision mission, on a department level, what is your direction
Yeah,
for the
yes, yes.
HR? Yes.
What
What
are
is your
actually
direction?
needed? What are the competencies needed to make
Yes.
the organization successful? So
Yes.
I think the first thing, if it is still already an ongoing organization, is look into the competency gap,
Yes.
assess what you have now, the people that you have now, and try to see where there are functions or there are competencies that are lacking. If it is lacking and you don't want to get people, then you do your training, train
Yes.
the to train your employees to
Existing
fit
employees.
in. So yes, so that their competencies can be upgraded. But if it is a little bit urgent, then you get somebody who is competent, who can help and be a part of the team. Then of
Yes.
course they have to look maybe into the succession plan.
Yes.
Who
That's
will
one of the things that we have to consider, especially in the SME, because the movement of the employees are very fast. No,
yes.
uh, it is very very fast. Unlike the corporate, wherein the corporate they will stay about 3 to 5 years, but in the SME, especially when there are offers outside, automatically they jump out. Okay, let me give you a common story, Sir Jess. No, a short story. In one of our engagement, there was a problem we have encountered, that the employees were already insisting. But the problem is that these employees are not fitted for the job. So what we do is we align them. Then after the alignment, since there is a dislocation of the position, then we follow it up with a training so that it will supplement the gap. It will narrow the gap of these particular employees when it comes to performance of the organization.
Okay. All right. Last question before we have the second break, and then after that, I'll ask you another question and be your parting message. Time runs so fast. Tell us about work-life balance.
Okay,
Can there
work-life
be
balance.
work-life balance in the human resources of small and medium enterprises?
Yes, there is. But what we impart to them is, uh, God only requires you 1 day a week. 1 day a week. So that 1 day a week is your recovery. God said that you go to church, you rest. When I was in Cagayan de Oro, in one of my engagement in Cagayan de Oro, I have this friend in a hotel. He was the owner of this radio television repair shop. I was surprised that every time on a Sunday, he was there. There's no break. And finally, the he got sick for a week, and there is no symptoms or whatever. So he went to a priest, no, a Roman Catholic priest. And during the time when the priest was talking, the priest told this repair shop owner, God only needs 1 day a week to go to church and for you to rest, to recover. At this point of time, in HR practices, there's most of the new breed of HR are after on their off duty or their break, because they know how important it is. But what we normally impart to this HR is you need to have a balance, because HR is unlike other department. You get toxic, no? You get toxic, especially in manufacturing, where there are heavy loads, no? Everything that if you're the HR generalist, every function is there as a problem. Okay, so there is always need for work-life balance in any organization, SME or even a corporate. But in General Santos, we normally practice it already. On a Sunday, sometimes
Yes.
we take a vacation just to wind up and just to stay fresh. The next.
June, I would like to add this. Sorry for interrupting you. You have to add this. Most especially for small and medium enterprises, overtime is really rampant, not knowing that it will really affect the person's health. Because, employees there would like to have an increase into their salaries, so they render overtime, not knowing that it will affect their life. Thank you very much, June. So let's have our second break, and after that, I have a couple of questions. We are in the last portion of the HR hotline episode today, and we're discussing advancing HR in the SMEs. Okay, but before we go back to June, let's have the announcements that we have here for the job fair. For our sponsor, you can send your resumes and application to recruitment at wdaincorporated.com.ph. Puzzlebacks still looking for um, staff, and you can send your application letters via careers at puzzlebacks-inc.com. And one algon is also looking for nurses down to security guards, and you can send your resumes to algonplace at gmail.com. No, there is no PH. Okay, I'm also endorsing some conferences. We have uh, the PMAP conference come uh, October 21, 22, and 23, and that is next week. And the PSTD National Convention on November 16, 17, and 18. And this afternoon, we have our PAPS Con. What you can do, it's free. Uh, just visit, log on to the page of the Philippine Association of Professional Speakers, and our tracks, there is a minimal fee of 500 pesos. Let's go back to Mr. June Salih now. Okay, just last question before I ask you to give a a parting message. So, what should be the HR focus now, or what should organization manage so that there will be effective HR services as far as SMEs are concerned?
Okay,
June?
I have made a three list. It is not in order, but it is what is happening now, and this is what we have to focus. Okay, information technology or the social media. In any companies now, there are lots of things that has been happening in information technology and the social media, and these are the things that we have to watch as far as an HR practitioner is concerned. Because these are the things that has been going on with us, and good if it is being used right. But there are things that the usage is not really appropriate. Okay. Then another one is the background check. The background check of recruitment, selection, and placement. Background check because most of the companies, uh, small medium enterprises, don't really they don't give focus on this one. These are the things really that can tell who are you going to hire and what type of persons that you are going to accept. Okay. Then the last one is the healthcare and wellness. The healthcare, of course, what we have now. Then the wellness. Um Most of the employees are into physical fitness, so we need to focus on this area. This area because most of our employees now, especially the millennials, one of their priorities are their health. Okay, so I think that's the three areas, Sir Jess, that is very
Yes.
common and that is needed in SME.
All right, June, thank you very much. But before you have your parting message, one more question. So,
Yes,
what HR strategies do you recommend?
I have listed. No, I made already my research, or I made already. I gone through our practices. One of the things that we need to strengthen is the continuous staff and training development. This is very, very important because it's not only a matter of hiring, but during the time that they engage with us, this is also part of engagement, training, and development. Okay? So another one is the build strong employees, build a strong employer's brand, no, in recruitment. Most of the companies do not really put an effort on this one. It is about your company. It is how your company, what the value of your company. If you want to be like Cargill Philippines, wherein just by the name itself you would know that it is really a very decent and good company. So if you want to build that type of culture, you have to start now. Okay. Then you have a um, quick and efficient hiring process. Most of the companies now, even in the call center, Sir Jess, I know you agree. Even in the call center, it takes time to hire. It will take them about I think the shortest about 3 days. If we can shorten it much farther, it is better. Okay. So the last one is improve your interviews. No, improve your interviews. Let me share with you about interview. This is part of the selection process. In the interview before we need to in a corporate, I mean, you will need to have an interview guide. But in an SME, we went back to the basic. We dropped off the questionnaires. We went back to the basic. As what they said, kung ano yung bunga, yun rin ang puno, no? So we went back because our culture here in General Santos or Southern Mindanao is totally different in Manila. So we went back to the basic. We are going to ask about all about the family, and that is we have been very successful, about 85%, that whenever we interview we can get the right person, no? So I think, Sir Jess, that is where we can have our strategy, no? uh,
Okay, thank you very
Continuous
much. Well,
improvement and
I'm listening
hiring.
and learning a lot from you. So, can we have your parting message to all our listeners? First, I would like
Yes,
to thank you, June, for being with us. Okay,
thank you
June.
also, Sir Jess, for giving me this opportunity, and of course to Mabs, who's giving us the technicalities of this particular um, what you call this,
Platform,
HR
live streaming,
platform.
live
Yes,
streaming.
live
Yes.
streaming. Okay, so my parting words is very short. I want all the HR to be sensitive when it comes to the people. I want you to be more passionate to your people so that you can understand what is HR all about. Because it's not about how you operate the HR, but it is how you feel the people that works for you. Okay? So other than that is, do not compromise quality, because it is very, very hard to do a program when your people is already existing and you have deficient people on the organization. So let me end these things about the HR. I have a very strong personality, but when it comes to HR, I always consider it as my passion. Thank you, Sir Jess,
Thank you very
for
much,
this
also, June.
opportunity. Okay,
Okay, regards to everybody in
thank you very much.
GenSan. In
Okay,
GenSan. There goes, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, advancing HR, our career, our profession, including those in the micro, small, and medium enterprises. If you are more than 5 people in the organization, there should be one who should take care of them already. Always remember, the quality of the organization depends on the quality of the people. Baldridge taught us in the balance scorecard that the priority of the four: marketing, operations, finance, it's people. So you have to take care of your people. Be if you're a bakery or a parlor or inquirer. Inquirer is still considered a medium because we only have at the time 400. I think it's lesser now. Or even PSTD, wherein you have around six. Somebody should take care already of HR. And it's not the traditional way, wherein you just administer that they come and that is timekeeping, and administer that they are paid and that is your compensation. No. Even with compensation, you have to be strategic. Even now, it's made obvious by pandemic, even in the reckoning of your attendance, it has to be strategic. You have to transition yourself into that concept of talent management. Strategic HR is actually an integration, an integration of the various functions of HR, from sourcing down to succession planning and termination of their employment. You have to make it integrated. Be it you are only 10 or you are 1,000 or 100 employees. You have at this time already adopting strategic human resource management, integrating the talent management functions. Again, always remember that the quality of your organization, including you, depends on the quality of the people. This is Jesse Francis Rebustillo, Just Mabalos po.